Hey, baby. I'm sitting out here in the back again, chilling, and I just wanted to drop this motherfucking epiphany on you that I had. And maybe, just maybe, you guys had came up with it before me. I could have been late to the game, but I'm gonna use this opportunity to make mention of it. Nowadays, people are so desperate for attention. Attention, in fact, has become transactional. And now it's to the point that they don't even give a fuck to have a solid reason to be the villain in your story. Now all they give a fuck about is just being the villain in general. Because being the villain gets them, even though it's limited, a certain amount of attention. Just like being the fucking victim gets them a certain amount of attention. They don't give a fuck. As long as it's a solid 5 minutes of fame, they good with that shit. Let me give you an example. You know how when we go to the movies, there's a good side and there's a bad side. And once in a while, you get a backstory on how the villain became a villain. Like, what actually happened. And when you get the backstory, you can kind of relate to it sometime and understand it. And now the villains ain't so much the villain anymore, simply because there's a relatable part to why he became the villain. Well, nowadays, right? The fuck ain't no fucking backstory to being the villain, right? And I'm talking about real life. Nowadays, the people who say that they don't give a fuck about you, or the people who say that they don't like you, don't require a backstory to be a villain. All they give a fuck about is the attention that being the villain gets them. Because other than that, they had no fucking relevancy at all. So, they don't have a backstory, which means they really don't have a solid reason not to like you. So that in itself is a quiet admission that there's some type of envy or jealousy going on. But that's not all. They take that energy and they tell it to other people to try to get a team against you. Now, the team consists of either people that don't know you, people who know of you, or people that only recognize who you are from the association that the villain is telling them. For whatever reason, the team now is on the side of the fucking villain. I don't think nobody really gives a fuck about that, but I'm just trying to get you to understand how villainism no longer requires a imperative decision. You don't have to do anything to any motherfucking body other than be yourself. You being yourself, not being a fucking follower, being a leader in your own world, in your own right. You moving how you move and not going along to get along. Whatever the fuck you got going on irritate motherfuckers so motherfucking much. Because you are actually reflecting back to them the effort that they are not giving to themselves. What they are not doing. What they are not able to build. They don't even need a fucking reason. There's no backstory. There is no real motherfucking reason. It's no solid reason that a mediator would be able to sit down and say, you know what, I understand why this person feels this way. Just like we can understand how the villain became a villain. There is no motherfucking reason. Ain't no reason. What the fuck they doing, right, is trying to put together some type of picture to make you out to be the bad person. They can't even hold the weight of their own bullshit. They can't simply own up or take no accountability and be like, you know what, I don't like that bitch because I just don't like her. Let me tell you how I deal with that, right? First of all, I don't owe an explanation to a motherfucking soul on why I do or don't fuck with certain people. But I can own my shit enough to say that if there is no particular reason why I don't fuck with you, there is a reason for me. And the reason simply is I don't fuck with you. And I'm not afraid to tell that fucking story. I'm not afraid to say that's my side, if that's what it is. Because I don't have no reason to fucking hide it. And I'm not looking for a motherfucking team to feel like they gotta be on my side because I feel the need to be validated or feel the need to be right. If I don't fuck with you, I just don't fuck with you. And that's just point blank and period. And I'm sure you can make your peace with that. And if something happened within the friendship or relationship why I don't fuck with you, I don't feel the need to explain that shit either, honestly. Because once again, I don't need a fucking team to support my decision. I don't fuck with you. You know what the fuck you did or didn't do that caused the demise of this fucking friendship. But I can own my shit. I can own my bullshit. That's what this little briefing is about. Because that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it a debriefing. This debriefing is mainly because motherfuckers want to be your enemy so motherfucking bad because being a friend to you didn't get them the acknowledgement or validation or attention that they wanted to get. Them stepping into your light, they didn't get the type of shine that they feel like they were supposed to get. So now they're going to turn around and become the villain in your story because that is going to get them the fucking attention they want. Oh, damn, she mad cool. What the fuck happened? So now you got a circle of motherfucking people surrounding you, whether it's from video or whether it's on the phone or whatever the fuck how you doing it. Now you got the attention is on you to tell your side of the motherfucking story and try to get other people to join your bandwagon on why you're now the villain or the victim. Now motherfuckers is corny as hell. That shit is so motherfucking corny. And I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering. That shit is corny. And I just wanted to kind of get that shit off my chest because I think quite a few of us who's watching this could relate to having enemies and not really knowing why. And not that you give a fuck. But sometimes, you just sit down with yourself and you go over things in your head. And you know how divine messages work. When it's time for you to learn a lesson, it will be a specific scenario that pops in your head. And you will replay it verbatim in your fucking mind. And at that point, it's really not you. It becomes your subconscious, which becomes your higher self, because it's meant for you to learn a lesson about that particular moment. So, that's the type of vibe that I'm on. I am cleaning my house. I'm about to start cooking dinner. But some things just came to my mind. And the lesson that I was supposed to get. And the lesson that I think I was supposed to get is there has been a revelation of enemies. And some of them I know why. But some of them I just don't get it, didn't understand. Until I come to realize that there is no fucking reason. They just don't fuck with me. But instead of owning that, knowing that and owning that and standing on that, they gotta make up a fucking story to try to make people either feel sorry for them or to be on their side. It's just as simple as that. They need to feel validated in their bullshit. But as you can see, it's getting dark out here. It's beautiful though. It is really fucking beautiful. Out here. And I'm just chilling. I'm enjoying myself in my own motherfucking company. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Because motherfuckers don't even, it's weird. It's weird. But I tell you what's not weird. You know what's not weird? We're in the year of the 8. And 8 in numerology can mean 2 things. It can mean abundance. But it can also mean, because the 8 is 2 loops, right? That represent infinity, because it's 2 loops that keep going and going and going. It also means that you are right where you're supposed to be within this life cycle, within this life circle. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. So believe in not just divine intervention, but believe in divine timing. Because even though sometimes you may not get the lesson right fucking then and there, it may take you a little while, but too much of anything ain't good for you. You can't get too much information at one time. You can go into overload or overdrive and become hypersensitive, overstimulated. It's a lot of shit that could go left. So you got to be careful when you are obtaining knowledge and wisdom and understanding. You can't get too much at one time. So, I'm getting these beautiful lessons sometime after the fact. But I get it now. You know what else you got to remember? You got to remember not just the lesson, because this is what I'm learning also about these fucking cycles, right? Hold on, let me put a little light out here. Let me shine a light on them. Oh. This is something else that you got to remember about these cycles, if you can. Because when you're on a healing journey, it's a lot of shit to try to remember, to try to keep you on the right track. And that in itself could be overwhelming sometimes. But let me tell you this about lessons. Because in the beginning of my healing journey, I said to myself, you know what? You gotta remember the lesson. Because if you don't learn it and then remember it, you'll repeat it. Right? But in the lessons, sometime you'll repeat it because this will be the test from the universe to see if you're ready to move past it, move forward. You gotta understand that the lesson is not always the same. So I'm gonna use a real example. The lessons that I've learned regarding the breakup and the lessons that I'm learning now after the death. If I'm to be tested about or on certain lessons that I've learned between those milestones, if I am to be tested, the lesson, the way that the lesson will come to me will not necessarily be the exact same way it was presented to me the first time. So it might not be the same lesson through love in another relationship. This might be the lesson that I have to learn to apply similar methods, but now the lesson might be being sent through my child, or the lesson may be sent through a dear friend of mine, or a lesson might be sent through somebody in passing, maybe a co-worker, maybe a job. It can be any person, place, or thing that presents itself in a different type of way, but it's affiliated with the same lesson. And you need to be able to recognize that this is a similar lesson so that you can apply the proper pressure, the proper protocol to be able to move a certain way and show the universe that you're not only a loyal and faithful servant, right? But you're also showing the universe that you trust her enough to still protect you, still allow you to have teaching moments, and still be able to get through some shit. And that she can recognize in that you're ready to move on from that lesson. That particular lesson was learned, and no matter which way it's presented to you, you can recognize it as such, and you'll be able to handle yourself accordingly. So I'm not going to keep you with that. I appreciate, and yes, baby, we healing in style. Yes, baby. Yes, baby. Yes, we are healing in style. Peace and blessings to you. I'll holler at you guys soon.